Hi everyone, Marcus Mods here and welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be an instructional. We're going to look at 3 quick and easy ways to desolder components from a printed circuit board. Now all the tools that I'm going to be using are linked down in the description. Now those are affiliate links, so if you like what you see and you feel like supporting the channel, please go check them out. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So to start, we've got our circuit board. In this case, I'm just using a junk board that I had laying around. I think this is out of an old intercom or something. What we're going to be doing today is desoldering 3 of these diodes over on this side. That way we've got the same thing to desolder each time for each method. So we'll go ahead and flip this board over, lay it down so that I can get to it. We've already got our soldering iron heating up. And then we'll go ahead and introduce our first method. So this is desoldering wick. This would be my recommendation for somebody who is getting into electronics or wants something where it's relatively easy to use and it's cheap. This roll or a couple rolls of this will cost you less than $10 and it's real easy to use. Now the way this soldering braid works, all you got to do is have your soldering iron already heated up. You press the braid against the joint that you want to desolder. And you press the iron against the braid, and the iron will heat up both the braid and the solder and suck the solder off the joint, or it should. And you want to make sure that you're not holding the braid because that will really hurt your fingers. Now this is kind of highlighting one of the downsides of this method. If you can see this real quick. The joint there, it's not sucking all the solder off of it, so it's going to be a little difficult to get this out. But we'll go ahead and try and desolder the other side. And then we'll do a time lapse. We'll catch back up with you when I'm done. Okay, so that was quick. That was painless. That was relatively easy to use. It's really cheap. That diode actually came out really well. I had to grab it a little bit with a needle nose pliers there at the end, but that's not hard. So now we'll go ahead and move on to the next method. So the next method we're going to be using is this Weller desoldering pump. And this is a manual desoldering pump. In my opinion, this is kind of a mid-level thing. This is where I moved after I got tired of trying to use the desoldering braid. And the way this works is you can push this button down and it's spring loaded. You can see it's locked in there. And then when you go ahead and hit the button, the spring pops that little lever back up and it creates a vacuum which sucks up your solder. So this one does tend, in my opinion, to do a better job soaking up all of your solder. But the problem is you kind of got to be quick with it. It's a quick movement to switch between this and your soldering iron to make sure the solder is still liquid whenever you are whenever you're desoldering. So now we'll go ahead and try this method out. So what we're going to have to do here, we're going to have to take our hot soldering iron. Well, first of all, we're going to go ahead and press this button down so that our vacuum pump is primed and loaded. Then we're going to take our hot soldering iron and we're going to have to heat up the solder joint that we want to remove so that it's liquid. Then once you've got a liquid joint, you go ahead and put the solder pump over it real quick. And if you're good, the solder will just come right up. But in this case, I did not do so well. So give me a few tries. I'll get back with you at the end of the time lapse. So you can see that at the end of the time lapse, I had to use my needle nose pliers again to pull my diode out. Honestly, this one performed a little worse than the soldering braid, I thought. This also will run you around $20, so it's a little more expensive than the soldering braid as well. And actually, you can see here at the end, there's a little bit of like a little I like to call it like a solder tornado, a little circle of solder that sticks out of the end of this tip. And that is something that will happen quite a bit when using one of these tools. And it's something that you're going to have to clean out after every couple of uses, which does get kind of annoying. So again, price-wise, this is the mid-level option. In my opinion, it's honestly probably a little more difficult to use than the solder braid. I know that I probably said it was easier earlier, but I hadn't used it in a while, and my opinions have changed. So next, we'll go ahead and move on to the third and final method. This is my Hakko desoldering gun. It automatically heats up there at the end, and it's got a pump built in. And all you have to do is press it over the joint you want to desolder, and then it just works. In my opinion, this is something for somebody who's doing a lot of soldering, somebody who's a professional, or maybe has some money to spare on a desoldering gun. But this is definitely the best option for desoldering. It's fast, it's quick, it's easy, it's awesome. So you can see I flipped a little button on the back, that red light comes on, and now I will just show you how to use it. It's so easy. So you just put it right over the diode you want to desolder. Suck it up. Give it a little bit. It takes 5 or 10 seconds for it to reheat the element between vacuums. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you just put it over the other end of the diode that you want to desolder. Suck it up. And then you should be good to go. We'll go ahead and set that back down off camera. We'll go ahead and take our needle nose, pop out our diode. Note, it just pops right out. And then we're good to go. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you found it entertaining and useful. Again, my favorite is the Hakko gun. For obvious reasons, it's just so easy, but it's also very expensive. The desoldering braid would be my alternative for somebody who is maybe a hobbyist electronics person or just getting into electronics and wanting to learn. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, hold on a second, gotta find my sticker. Make cool shit.